Hey there. Today is Thursday, and this is a little bit of a throwback and just a little bit of a quote that I think about often. And so I know that a lot of people with ADHD struggle with reading, but then some don't. And I was definitely a kid that did not. I would get so absorbed in a book that bombs could go off, and I would not notice. Lately, I have been struggling to read. I don't know why. I just can't get into it. And I have quite a collection of books to be read that I want to read. I'm very good at collecting books, and not very good at reading them lately. But as a kid, I was a very avid reader, and I loved reading things over and over again, like rereading. And one of the books that I've reread throughout my life is Little Women. It is one of my favorite stories, to the point where I have read it so much that sometimes when I am having a hard time sleeping, I will mentally, I don't have the story memorized verbatim, but I know the scenes and the order of the story. And so I'll start mentally telling it to myself, to kind of focus my thoughts and maybe help me fall asleep. It doesn't always help, but sometimes. And but at any rate, there's a quote in the book, and it's by Amy, who is not the main protagonist, but I'm not afraid of storms, for I'm learning to sail my ship. And I've always loved that idea that that it's important to not fear the rough parts while you're learning, because that's where you're going to gain your biggest skills. It's not going to be from the easy parts. It's going to be the parts that test you. And I've found this to be true throughout my career. Is every time I've been thrown basically in the deep end, I've had to learn to swim, and it was that or fail. And whether it's my stubborn nature or just not to fail, but I've always managed to figure it out and experience the best growth, even though the initial shock of being thrown in the deep end is disorienting and frustrating and scary. It's always been my experience that those are the moments where you grow the most. I don't know how to induce those if you're not really in a situation, but it all comes to basically getting outside of your comfort zone. And to some extent, that is important, but it's also a little bit, I think, overrated, that not everything has to be outside your comfort zone. But definitely to experience some growth, you're going to have to push out of there, sometimes to get that boost, to get that, I don't know, I said the word a few minutes ago and I've completely forgotten what it was, but basically to test and hone your experience by going through a challenge. If it's just smooth sailing and great wins, you're not really going to be, resilient enough in the face of challenges. And so it's really those challenges that help you build that resilience, and then you can do it again. And so that's just a quote that I like from a story that I absolutely love. And actually, it's been a little while since I've reread it, so maybe I'll add that to my list. Maybe that one will get read because I already know what's going on, and sometimes that makes it a little easier to put the book down when it's time to go to bed. Anyway, I hope that y'all have something that inspires you to take some risks and put yourself out there. And if you'd like to share, or subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And thanks for watching.